The phrase think globally and act locally is a so long phrase that was introduced far back as 1915 by Scottish planner Patrick, and this has remained relevant in our day to day. On today's live, because it's Thursday and we're talking about education, we're looking at thinking globally. My name is Joyce Jakada. I'm glad you could join us on today's edition. I'm not doing this alone. My beautiful people are right here talking about Prudence Burger. Hi.
Good morning, Joyce.
Sambo Solomon.
Global Sambo.
Wow. Jemima, you know I'm always proud to sit next to you because somehow Jemima is becoming my role model and mentor.
Okay.
Good morning, all. Oh, you were thinking you are the one. Sorry, I will for your hand. Jemima is now my role model.
My pally.
I've always been intimidated on this show, but I'm happy.
Wow.
Welcome. Let's talk
Thank
about
you.
education. Let's talk about thinking globally. Like I've always had that term, think globally, act locally. Think globally, act globally. Today we are thinking globally. You hear educators use it, people in business. You hear environmentalists, like they say that as well. This phrase can be traced back to 1915 when a Scottish planner and conversationalist talking about Patrick Geddes made that statement about thinking globally and acting locally, and ever since then we've had a lot of people would always make reference to that. You need to think globally and act locally. In fact, some people have referred to it as globe-cal. So what, in your opinion, should that even matter today, thinking globally?
Well, I feel that thinking globally means when you don't do the same things that everyone keeps doing every day. When you think out of the box, you do something new, something extraordinary. It may be that you're doing the same everyday things, but in a different way that is new to everyone and interests people. It catches the attention of people. They want to come and see, people from far and near. They want to see what it is that you're doing that everyone is talking about, what it is that you're doing that everyone seems to want to copy it. So thinking globally can be doing the same thing, everyday thing, in a different way, or doing something entirely new.
Well, if you leave me, I would say, it's for you opening up your mind. Open up your mind, and then globally, you can say, if you open your mind, this is what I mean. If you open your mind, that means you are ready to accept other things that is happening outside. That means if your mind is open and there is something new that is happening somewhere, that means you can easily adopt. But if you close your mind, so even if the world is moving, as far as you're concerned, that's your limit. So you just stick to that, and then you see so many people that have that kind of mentality. It's not that they are not thinking globally. It's not that they don't know what is happening out there, what is obtainable, but they have conditioned their mind that this is how I want to do my thing, and nobody should cross, nobody should come in, nobody should go out. So they are just comfortable where they are with their knowledge and whatever they have. So you just see that people like that, it's even difficult for you to suggest anything to them because they feel what they know, that is what is obtainable. So you have to open up your mind. Once you open up your mind, that means you are ready to take anything good that is coming, that you will add up to whatever you have.
What I'm going to say is not really far from what they are saying, and especially from what Mr. Solomon just said. It's when you're thinking globally, it's that you're out of that box. Everybody has this box of culture, you have this box of religion, traditions, and all that. You already have that box. It's established from the day you were born. You already have that box. But thinking globally is that you're reaching out of the box. When we're saying thinking globally and then we're saying reaching out of the box, doesn't necessarily mean that you are letting go of your values. No, that's not what it is. It is that when you're looking at situations or you're looking for solutions, you're looking at them with optimism. You're optimistic about it. You're also looking at it with the light of, okay, things change. There's certain flexibility that is expected of you. You're looking at it you're looking at things like, okay, so things are fleeting. So if I have this today, tomorrow it might not be like that. It's like with the cell phones or the handsets we have. You find that this period came and it moved and it moved and it moved, all get towards making the world a smaller place instead of a larger place. So it's like, okay, let's all be connected and all communicate. And with the introduction of each and every one of these things, there was resistance that it met and crossed over. The telephone came, the roundabout telephones, then the other telephones, the intercoms and all that. And now we're using the handsets, and sometimes we're even using the palm, and everybody's just thinking, as much as possible, you're making it lighter, but being able to communicate with the world globally. So that's basically thinking globally. This person was thinking, this world seems large, but we can make it into a small place. That's thinking globally. Thinking globally, we say something like, the whole world can see what I think of at this moment. We have statues to do that. So that's thinking globally. This person was thinking beyond just people around you, your immediate environment. What if you have friends and family outside the country where you are located? That's thinking globally. Thinking globally is that you are innovative as much as possible to not just streamline your thoughts to what you find in your closest environment, and even what you find in your closest environment, how big can you make them? That's all thinking globally for me.
Also agreeing to exposure. When we say globally, it's not just your state, it's not just your country, it's not just your village, your family members, it's to other countries as well. So when you're exposed, when you agree to allow yourself to be exposed, to carry everyone along.
Education in itself is just the ability for you to be open to learn new things. It could be skill, it could be knowledge, it could be like a business in whatever line you choose to. But as far as there is knowledge, there is addition in terms of like growth. It is education, and that's why we always speak on education, especially when it's Thursday on Today's Life, so that people can see when you talk about education, it's not just talking about the four walls of school. Now we have transcended beyond that. That's why we're talking about thinking globally. Some people have sat down and thought that, how can we make education accessible and easy for people? And in their thinking globally, thinking outside the box, they decided to come up with online study. And that's why you see people can sit down at the comfort of their home and then still learn. They didn't say, in my community you have to go to the four walls of the classroom. If you don't go, you are not learning, you're not educated. But he tried to see how that education can also be acquired even online with your data, with your phones, with your laptops. You can just attend lectures, have your registrations done and everything. You don't have to appear physically to do registration. You can just be at the comfort of your home, and then with all these technologies, things can get done. So you thinking globally is like embracing global mindset. What is obtainable globally? We've always, some of them was talking about it. It's not like we don't know about innovations, but some people have made up their mind in a way that this is how we have been doing it for the past 30 years. You cannot come and change it. No, you're not being global in your thinking.
The world is moving.
Yes, exactly. I was just going to say, over the period that we had the whole pandemic, the whole COVID-19 pandemic, you would find three different kind of people. There's people that said, okay, so being in my house, being locked up in my house and not being able to go out is not a hindrance for me to go outside, to still go outside. And when I mean go outside, I mean go outside here. You're going outside mentally, you're already, your business keep pushing. A lot of people recorded success in that period.
Very
Sure.
true.
Exactly. And then we had the group of people who were just, it doesn't really matter, we are just, and then we are just there, let's just watch this time, and what we can do, we just do. We don't need to go an extra mile to do something. At that point, those people were just comfortable. There was no, they didn't have a lot of issues. And then we also had those that period gave them a whole lot of losses because they could not adapt to the measures and the way the world turned out. You find that the whole world moved to the social media and the internet, and people and this group of people could not move together with the world. So at that moment they had a setback in their businesses and every other thing, and that's what we're talking about. How do you condition your mind? For some of them it was circumstances. There was no way you could do, because for market women there's no way you can still sell because you're locked up. Those ones, that's a different situation entirely. But what we're talking about is, if you had a certain form of business and you could have moved it to the internet and refused to do that because you felt that at that moment it was not needed, so you incurred a loss because of that. We had that group of people as well. So it's all about how you conditioned your mind. Am I ready to adapt? I earlier said you have to have a certain level of flexibility so that you would be able, like, that's what thinking globally is. That means you have cultural intelligence and social intelligence as well, so you're able to interact with people even outside the sphere that you know, the circle that you know. If not, you would, that means you're not really thinking globally. Because if you don't have cultural intelligence, for instance, there has always been an issue of people not accepting this culture and that culture, so you're not thinking globally at that moment. Now, I'm not saying that you should compromise what you believe in, but then again, you find that these people believe that if you move a certain form of way, you're okay. Like people, that those that believe in bad omens, if you do this and you do that, that's a bad omen. For you, you're already used to doing that. But when you come to an environment like that, or you find somebody from that environment like that, and the person is reacting because of what you just did, it is important that you understand that, okay, no, this is because this person is coming from this place. That's thinking globally as well. It gives you emotional intelligence. You're able to communicate with people from different angles, from different places. But all of it still boils down to how flexible your thoughts are. Are you flexible to adapt and adopt certain things for,
Prudence,
life?
the flexibility comes with your exposure to informations and knowledge. And that is why I maintained earlier on that, you see, this education we keep hammering on, it's beyond the four walls, it's beyond any physical location. It is your determination to get information that will better you and better your life beyond even your immediate environment. It's like expanding your thoughts beyond where you are. Yes, I know that I grew up in a community where this has been the culture. If you want water, you have to go to the stream. This has been the culture for years. But how can we make this easy? It is your ability to be open to information, get the knowledge. Look at other climes, look at other countries. What is obtainable? Are there countries, are there communities where people can even have access to water even inside of their bedroom? Are there? Yes, there are. So how can we bring that to our own community? If for years we have been, if we want water, we have to go to the stream, we have to go to the river. How can we be like the other community that at the comfort of their home, when you go to the kitchen, there's water. When you go to the bathroom, there's water. Some at the dining, there's also access to water. How can we have it? That's you thinking globally, expanding your thought beyond your immediate community. See, you can't do that. You can't expand that thought if you are so into what has been done for years. Today in offices, we see people like that they are not willing to stretch. When you even try to stretch them, it becomes a problem. They say, oh, this one just came when and he wants to just come and change things. Can you be innovative? Can you embrace like the change? Because the world is like, it's dynamic. And then things are always changing. If you're not innovative, sooner or later you become extinct as a business owner, as an organization, as a company, as an individual. People are looking out for, oh, what can you give? There's really competition. There's really competition in the world today between businesses, organizations, companies. If you are not up to date, you just become extinct. People will soon forget you. So can we start thinking globally? In what you're doing, you're complaining, oh, I don't get sales, I don't do this every day, I'm showing up at my business, but I'm not making sales. What are you doing what is the other person doing that is making sales? You just open a shop, and every morning you go, you open, you sit down. The other woman, you are saying she's using juju. Every day when she goes to the shop, she opens, she has adopted the new technology, and I say, oh, she has made it easy that if you want food, you can just make order online and they can pick your order, and she has a delivery guy that can just take it to the customer, and she's making sales. You didn't adopt any technology. You're saying, it's so sinful to be on Facebook, it's so sinful to be on Twitter, Instagram, and all of that, and you are there not making any sales. You are not showing up. You're not doing promotions for your business. You are saying that I'm shy, I'm the shy type, I cannot come out. And some people are taking it personal when it comes to promotion and advertisement of their products. I've seen a lady that she sells shoes, but you see her wear, like she does like comedy, but in that comedy she's advertising her products. That is you trying to see that you get to your customers. How can I get to these people so that they can be convinced to buy my product? You cannot go and be showing up every day, sitting doing nothing and not taxing your brain, creativity, and think that things will be better. If you're employed as a secretary, you need to think globally. What is obtainable out there beyond sitting down, collecting documents and just keeping them? How can I make things easier and then better? If you are a sales rep, what is your approach to your customers? Beyond just sitting and just what do you want, you get and give the person. What about your attitude? What is the relationship between you? That is what makes the person that is selling different from the person that is not selling. So we live in a world where we always say, oh, it's a global village. Why? Because of the advancement in technology. And then you are right there, whatever you're doing, you're saying, I don't want to be on any social media, the witchcraft that is going on there and all of that. Can you now take your own positivity? Yes, there are a lot of negativities out there, but can you think of how that I can be or add to the positive things that actually happen in social media? Businesses now have grown, unlike before that Sambo Solomon, you are selling clothes, you have to go to the locations where your customers or your prospective customers are to convince them about this your product and the need for them to buy it. Today you can sleep in your bedroom and then you can make sales. How? It's just for you to take pictures of your product or do videos and then post it, and then people will just say, oh, how do I make payments? You drop your account number, they make payments, and then you take their request. How do you want it? And they tell you which one do you want, and you just get a delivery guy, or you can even go yourself, you deliver. Like without any stress. You don't have to go say, see, oh, this size, this one will fit you. Just buy a manicure, put it, and they see it. Oh, this is exactly my size. So we need to think globally. We need to be exposed, like beyond our immediate environment. We should adopt perspectives. Let's see the needs to think like, oh, beyond how I have been doing it or how we have been doing it. This is how it has been. How can I still do this same thing but different way to get the same result or a better result?
Okay, I think there was something I mentioned earlier, the exposure. Your willingness to be exposed to a certain thing helps you in thinking globally. And then a lot of times thinking globally is a lot of trial. Like you have to keep trying. It's not like you just think of one thing and then automatically it just works. No, sometimes you have to try and fail, think again and fail, the more you keep thinking and trying other things, you eventually stumble on the right one to do. And the fact that you got one right doesn't mean you should just fold your arms and say, well, I did something good for once and that's all. No, you have to keep thinking. Like the business sector you talked about, if you're a business person and you're selling, today you sold to this customer, tomorrow you sold, and you keep selling, as you are selling, you are thinking of ways that you can sell better. And even when you sell better, you're still thinking again, how can I still sell? If yesterday you sold to 10 people, today you sold to 30 people, you can't just relax. You want to think, oh, tomorrow I want to sell to 50 people. Next tomorrow, in fact, I want to reach 200 people. You know, for you to do that, you have to keep thinking. And for you to keep thinking, it doesn't mean everything you thought of will automatically work. No. It means some will fail, some would work. And other times you have to go out and look at what other people are doing. The one you mentioned initially, someone is doing something in a different way. That's why she is selling to 2,000 people in one day and you are still selling to 200 people in one day. What is it that she's doing? You can grab the one she is doing and still add to it. Think more. It's not like you take it and then work with it. You get what she's doing and think more. You may be able to sell to 5,000 people in one day, and don't be surprised, more people will keep coming. So thinking globally is not something that stops. It's a continuous thing, and even when you're getting it right, you don't stop. It's like a circle. You keep going around it and seeing that the circle expands bigger than it was before.
Yeah, I want to move a little bit away from the business environment. You have certain, like our profession, or the pastors, for instance, and all the other ones that all have to be geared towards communication. You have to understand that everybody comes from a different background. So if you're thinking globally, you need to consider all those things. If I'm relating to Mr. Solomon, he's from this part of the country. I should be able to relate with him with a certain form of understanding, because this is the kind of environment he's coming from. And I'm talking to Joyce, and Joyce is from a different part of the country, or the different part of the world. I need to relate with her in a different way. I need to understand where she's coming from, how her train of thought is designed, so that I too would relate to her on that level, so that she understands me. Because in this kind of business, it's all about communication. You need to understand each other. And if you're not thinking globally in this kind of profession, then you would not go nowhere. You basically just hit a brick wall at every point in time, because you would not find everybody thinking in one way. Everybody thinks in a different form. So you need to be open. We're all talking, we've been talking about this thing, and we're all been saying one thing, that is that you leave your mind open. You have to be open to understand the scenario of the environment you're finding yourself in, because if you're not doing that, and it also reflects too in the business sphere. If you're communicating with a customer online, and this customer is from a different part of the world, the person reacts and behaves and talks to you in a different way. So you have to adopt that too, to communicate with that customer. So that's it. This is something that goes all around. It's all round. Everywhere you find yourself, you need to think globally to leave the place that you are. You need to think globally to grow. If not, you're not going nowhere.
Yes, I forget, Prudence. You cannot be global thinker and be tribal.
Yes.
A lot of people, that is the factor that is like stopping them from thinking globally, because you're tribal. You don't do business with anybody that is not your tribe. You don't do anything with anybody that is not from your own place or religion or whatever it is, what you believe in, what you stand for. When we're talking about business, for example, you can't be tribal and go and succeed in that. So we need to understand that thinking globally is like you embracing different points of views. Like you have already come to that point of understanding that, see, we are same people. We are people, but our ways of thinking based on where we're coming from, our environment differs. Now, you must have the ability to be open-minded. Like, you must embrace versatility. Yes, this can be done, but in different ways. You know, some people can so embrace a pattern that, no, okay, can we just place this, just here to place this cup, and they'll take this way, like it has to be this way to place the cup. They don't think that I can come through that way and the cup will still be in the same place. And that's why you find out people like that argue. They argue and they will never accept any point of view because they feel it has to be this way. And no wonder someone says that you might be saying 6, another person might be saying 9. So you must get to that understanding that, see, there are different points of view. Thinking globally exposes us to new perspectives. Yes. It also allows us to see things that we don't know. It takes you out of your comfort zone. So you can't be local, and then when you think locally, you act locally and you remain local. So, but if you can be, there are people that always think that, oh, for them to make it, they must go out of their community before you can make it in life. Who told you that where you're headed to is going to be different if your thinking is still local? So if you want, you can still thrive wherever you are. But how are you thinking? Are you thinking globally or locally? That is what distinguish those that are succeeding and those that are yet to succeed. There are people that you see them, some people say, you can't be in Jos and make it. Oh, daily there are people that are making millions in the same environment. So some people think that it's only when you get to Lagos that you can make it. If you're thinking locally, you go to Lagos, spend years, and you will still not make it. We have people like that we are thriving in whatever they are doing. For example, music. And it's like, it's a notion that if you want to make it in the music industry, you have to go to Lagos. You go to Lagos, you're thinking local, you cannot make it. So how are you seeing things? What is your perspective? Are you exposed to the reality of the times that we are in? Jemima spoke about exposure. Some people or some of us lack exposure. You don't have that understanding that there are different points of views. Your own must not stand. Everybody must not embrace your point of view. We can see family differently. Why somebody say, family must comprise father, mother, and the children. Another person can insist that, see, the father, the mother, and the children are made up family. Some will tell you don't even need children to make it a family. So everybody has his point of view pertaining to things. But if we want to succeed, we must think global. We must be exposed to the reality of the times that we are in. You can't sit there and be complaining as a preacher that, my members are not hearing what I'm saying. They are always going to all these messages online. Move online as well. If you're really sure and you know that what you're saying is the truth, and we're talking about global village, and then the point of view here is that because of the advancement in technology, you too advance. You can't be in the physical location while the world have moved to embracing technology and be saying people don't come to church. They will stay at home and be playing messages. What changed?
You know what now happens is that you begin to be aggressive, and the moment that you find yourself being aggressive towards people's thoughts and people's point of views or people's ideas, then you should know that at that moment you're not thinking globally. I'm not saying that you accept everything just because you need to be global. No, it's not about accepting, because definitely you would have your own priorities, you have your own values, but this is all about you not attacking somebody just because the person believes this kind of thing, or attacking people just because they behave in this kind of way. No, it's about understanding these people. Do I understand them? Okay, so why are they doing this, what they're doing? If this is how they're doing it, how should I approach them in the best way? How would I make them understand my own point of view as well? You're not imposing nothing on them. So the moment that you begin to be aggressive towards somebody's perspective, then you just know that at that moment I'm not thinking globally.
Me, I see approaching, if you ask me, I would say approaching humanity with a global mindset.
Yes.
You talk about education. Why do we go to school? Why do we study? Why do we acquire knowledge? It's to solve problem. Is to solve problem. And if solving problem, in 100 years ago, that particular village used to go to the stream to fetch water, what is obtainable now? Even in some villages, not only your village, because you'll find out close to you there's a village that possibly maybe they have moved from just going to the stream to digging a well, right? And maybe going further, you will now find there's another village that moved from just the well to maybe borehole. You see, they are moving, right? But in your own case, you are like, no, this is the way we've been doing. Our forefathers, that's how it's designed. So we'll continue like that. So I would say, yes, there's a problem, but you are not thinking globally, even to affect the community, by solving that particular problem, that they don't have to go that far, to even fetch water. That reminds me, there's the story of a particular village that, they are struggling with the issue of water. How they get water. They used to travel, walk long distance to just get water from the stream. So, someone came and then he wants to proffer a solution. He wants to see how he will provide a well, and then the elders in the community kicked against that. And he was like, wow, I just feel like these young people are suffering. They don't have to go trek that long, to just go and get water. We can think of how we dig a well and then they will be getting water. You know what their excuse was? The reason why they kick against is that, the ladies in that particular village, that's how they get suitors. That when they travel, when they trek that long distance to go and fetch water, that's when other people see them, and then they ask them for marriage. So if now they don't travel, they don't walk that long distance, who will see them and marry them? You see the thinking. That's why we are saying it's the mindset. It's the mindset. So everything is up here. You have to know that the world is moving with the speed of light. Yes, it's not that you can catch them at once, but what we are trying to say, just open up your mind and know that that thing that is obtainable 100 years, 50 years ago is no longer obtainable. Yes, some people are practicing, but people are adapting, people are growing, people are looking at new techniques of how things are being, problems, let me put it this way, how problems are being solved, without much effort, without putting time. You understand? People are looking for ways, just like the way you mentioned about picking the cup, because I know this cup, this is the way we used to, and then somebody is saying this is a shorter way that this cup can just reach the same place that we want it to be, and you are saying no. For instance, from here you want to travel to Lagos, and somebody will tell you no. All this why we used to use we normally use luxurious bus, so you cannot board a plane.
Yeah, let me just give you a quick example again. Before now we have our preachers like screaming, shouting to public, to group of people that are always there to listen to the word, and somebody in its mindset, how can we come up with something that is going to be easier? You can just talk, and then at their own pace, at ease, and people, even someone at the back, can still hear. And we had the microphones, and before now, and it makes things easy. You don't have to scream that concept of shouting, and because you want the last person to hear. It was in thinking globally that someone says, we can come up with a device that once you speak to it, it will amplify the voice, and people behind can actually hear. And we have microphones, we have speakers that will even make it even go wider than where you are. And we used to sing in the church, you just sing, you clap hands, very good. We still have that in some of our villages, but today we have instruments as well. And I know that there are people that till tomorrow will still fight having instruments in the church. You'll say, I met an old man that says, you people have introduced noise to worship. You have introduced just all this that is not good. Before they sing, they clap their hands, and like there was no noise. I was like, but it's in the Bible. You use praise him with instrument,
With
praise him with
cymbals.
cymbals, praise him. Everything was mentioned. So some people are local in their thinking. The moment you try to just be innovative, it's a problem for them. They can't stand it. You have that even in offices. When you try to stretch people, though, why you writing? You can just type this and like I prefer to just write it. I don't want to type. I don't want. You tell people, oh, you can use these features on the computer. It makes work easy. You can just type the minutes, email it to everybody, and no, you want to take your time 2 days to type, print it out, share the hard copies to people, and then you feel satisfied, sense of
you mentioned that some
And when
people
you
have
leave
chosen
that
that
place,
they
a lot
want
of
to
people
write,
leave the papers
that
on
they've
the
chosen
chair.
that I want to write it down. Interestingly, even the technology has decided, okay, so you want to still write, we will give you can write it on you can just do it on your tab or your system, and
they will give you excuse why they should not use it. You know,
And
there
a
are
lot
people
of
that don't
times
like that.
when you share those papers and you leave the place, you will see it.
Literally.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it becomes useless.
You know, I just thought of this. I'm not sure if that was the idea behind this scheme that we brought up in Nigeria, the whole youth core member thing. You know, you find that after your school education, they want to send you to a different community that they believe you're not familiar with, so that you both would understand each other and forge the country ahead. That's basic thinking globally. That's just it. Because you need to understand the people around you. You need to understand the people that you would communicate with today or maybe even tomorrow. So as much as we go about doing our businesses, and as much as you want to still keep some memories and some behaviors or characters that you know how to do locally, you need to also open your mind to the fact that the world doesn't stay the same. What you find 5 years ago is not the same thing as now. What you will find 5 years later would not be the same. In fact, we have this brand of the telephones, the handsets that basically bring out new models like every year.
3 months.
Yes. Oh, you find 3 months they're bringing a new model already. So everything just changes. Everything is moving fast. Nothing is staying the same. And you would find the way that now I'm going to go to the Bible. Okay. You'll find that the way Jesus did his ministry was a little bit different, but the same values with the way the disciples did theirs. And as it gravitated towards our generation now, you find ministry being done in a different way, but the same core values. So what is essential is that as much as you are trying to be innovative and open-minded, your core values is not affected. And when I say your core values is not affected, it's like there are certain beliefs that cannot be compromised. So regardless the platform that you find yourself in, you still give out the same values. But in a more attractive way, because that is what is invoked in your community right now. And thinking globally helps you succeed, because if you don't think globally, if you're not thinking wide, outside the box, thinking, okay, I need to move out of my comfort zone and adapt to a certain to certain things, then I will not succeed in whatever I'm doing. You can't continue to sew a dress the same way that you did 10 years ago. You cannot.
You wake up to see that you're the only clients to your
you cannot do handcrafts like that. You can't make a hair the same way you did 10 years ago or 2 years ago or 6 months ago. things just change. They keep changing. So you need to open your mind. Okay, things change, things grow, things develop. You need to open your mind to that.
Personally, prudence. Like I have a side craft, and like almost daily when I want to try something new, I go online and I check YouTube. I check how people do certain things, and let me try this. And you try it and it comes out beautiful, and you see that people are, I want this. Like, how can you be doing something that everybody is doing the same way? Then there's no need for me to come to you. I can just get it in the closest person. But what's, like I said, business, what sets one aside is your ability to think globally, your ability to some Muslims talk about giving results. That's what solving problem. That's what education is all about. Be open to information, learn new things, adapt to the technology that people have already moved into. We are saying global village, and you are refusing to advance, even in your thoughts, even in your business, in your company, your organization. You want to do things the same way you do 10, 30, 20 years ago, and you want to still be relevant. No, you cannot be. Like I said, you have to expose yourself. You have to be open. Thinking globally expose us to new perspectives, to things that we have not known. It takes you out of your comfort zone. You were talking about NYC. I think it's one of and is an aspect of thinking globally. When I found myself in a different state, I never knew that. I used to know okra, that you just plug the okra out, you make soup out of it. I never knew that the leaf can be used to make soup as well. And when I found myself in that, they call it, like the Mada people call it bander, and they make soup from the leaf, and that's like a cultural soup there. So I was like, oh wow, I've seen another perspective to making soup. And I recently over the weekend, I was in a different state, and we just went to the market, and I saw that the groundnuts you buy and then you cook at home, I noticed that there, almost everywhere, at every point, I saw that they washed it before putting it, displaying it for sale. And I was thinking it's a cooked groundnut, like we have where I'm coming from. It is the cooked groundnut that you see it being washed, cooked, and then. So when I saw it, I was thinking it's a cooked groundnut. They say no, it's raw. What they do there, they wash it and they display it for sale raw. But in like where I'm coming from, nobody wash the groundnut for you, because it's expected that it's raw. You buy it, for whatsoever reason they don't wash it, you buy it and then you go and wash it. But do you know that the fact that they wash it makes it attractive? And even if I didn't think of eating groundnut, I would like to buy it because it was looking so attractive. Don't think that because you are frying akara, you cannot be global in your thinking. Haven't you seen people that package, like before you want to eat, you have to go to the restaurant? But today there's what we call the there's a way they package like the food. They package it. You can just make order. People use it as surprises for birthdays and all of that. Yeah. You have to be innovative. You have to think global. These are things that are obtainable now.
It was thinking globally that made someone to think, okay, this normal. Okay, there's a part of Nigeria that takes what we call kunun samia. It's basically pap. I don't know how to explain it, like porridge. If you can understand that, made from certain forms of grain, certain different types of grains. And this person thought, okay, no, I think we can package it in this kind of nylon, and you just go add a little bit of water in it, and you can mix it, and voila, you're good to go. So it's thinking globally that would make someone think like that. It's thinking globally that will make the local woman who does donwake, it's a certain form of food. It actually looks like dumplings from the northwestern Nigeria. You would find that somebody has decided, okay, I can grind this, I can make it, combine it already, and then this person just needs to come and put water in it, a little quantity of water, and you can just go ahead and do it. It makes life easier for people people who love that delicacy, and they can't find themselves doing it in the urban areas. It's thinking globally. It's thinking globally that will make people export their local goods in the best way possible. It's thinking globally.
I've not seen packaged gari and the branding and everything.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that one time, and it was being advertised, and I was like, wow, okay, this is really.
So once you buy one, you're buying the full package.
You're just set. Yeah, you're just set. You just put water.
That brought about 3-in-1.
Yeah.
The sugar, the
Mm-hmm.
milk, the
Yes.
whatever, so that you
Together.
just
See, we have
What-
to.
yeah.
You have to remain relevant in this day, this age. You have to be relevant, and in being relevant, you must be able to think outside your community, outside your comfort zone. You must come out. We kept talking about thinking outside the box, literally outside just your immediate community. What is obtainable out there? We're not saying compromise your values, compromise your belief, but be open-minded. Like, be open-minded, see different perspective, embrace like development, advancement. Don't fight it. Like, a story was told of an old woman that her son took her out of the country, and then each time she tries to just walk down the streets, she just sees people, and people are like, hi, hello. And she came back home one day and she was crying. She was unhappy, and the son asked, Mama, what's the problem? And she said, these people don't greet in this place. Even when she greets people, like how how Africans greet, you can just, especially Nigerians, good afternoon. The person will answer afternoon. How are you doing? Fine, thank you. How are the children? What about your dog? What about everything they will ask you about? That your sick sister. Everything they want to ask. Oh, you're fine, right? How's work been? So she expects that when you see me, you stand. We'll do that, exchange that kind of pleasantry, and people just like hi, and they pass. Hello. Your neighbors will you can just be in a place, and then you don't see your neighbors for days. And she came back, said she wants to go back, and the son asked why. She said, people don't greet here, people don't relate. You know how Africans can just go out and you meet and you start talking. There people are looking for body, and every minute matters to them.
Yes.
It's just hello. That's the culture. So you don't fight people's culture. You try to understand why. I was in a gathering of Christians, and it was a solemn assembly, and then one of the speaker there says that don't be quick to criticize people or criticize people's belief or their practice. He try to find out why they do things in certain way. If you are a Pentecostal, for example, why are the the Catholics doing things this way, Protestants, why are they doing things? Try to find out instead of just being quick to criticizing. That will save you a lot of stress. But a lot of times we are not inquisitive. We're not really open to know reasons why things happen in certain way, but we're just seeing it as, this is not obtainable where I'm coming from, and it must not be like that. So it has to be the way your village people are doing it. If it's not how your village people are doing it, you will not accept it. You see people go outside their environment and they are fighting how things are being done.
And
See why I said you need to check that
thinking-
you are not aggressive about somebody's belief. You need to understand where this person is coming from, why this person is doing this. But the moment you begin to react aggressively, just know that there's a problem somewhere. You
And
have
in
a problem.
thinking globally also, you need to leave room for people's reactions, so that when people react negatively, it doesn't just pull you down, and when people react positively, you don't just feel like you have arrived. So you have to leave room for people's reaction. See, some of the things that we were mentioning, the creativity that people come up with, I'm sure everybody didn't just embrace it overnight, like the Gary packaging and all those food you mentioned. People didn't just embrace it overnight. When they started it initially, I'm sure some people were not even accepting it, but eventually they began to understand and they all accepted it. So in thinking globally, always know that people can react negatively or positively, but whichever way they react, just know that you should keep pushing yourself to do better.
And that's the reason why you just have to be deliberate. Yeah, you just have to be deliberate, because we are talking knowledge now. You have to be deliberate with the kind of knowledge that you want to acquire, and why are you acquiring it. That will help you to create balance. I think you acquire knowledge to create balance wherever you are. Balance in the sense that there is a particular place you're coming from. There's a certain belief and values which you have embraced. So what is obtainable there? Where is Jemima coming from? Where is Joyce coming from? Where is Prudence coming from? I have to take my time. I have to be deliberate and study about her, study about you. Then now I'm in your midst. Then I have to deal with the three of you, coming from different angle with a different level of knowledge, and I will know different temperament, of course. Then I will how do I relate? How will I relate with all of you? Then I will say, okay, based on what I found out, being deliberate about Jemima, this is how I will relate with her. That I know I will create balance. I will not create a friction, in us relating or in us working together. You just have to be deliberate. So wherever you are, if you are in Nigeria and you're northern part of Nigeria, how more do you know about people from the south? Before even going out, talk about West Africa, talk about Africa, then you move to Asia and the rest. If what you are doing warrant that you will carry these people along, then definitely you have to be deliberate about them and know what is obtainable there, what's their belief, what's their value, and whatever you are bringing, will it be offensive, even if you are bringing it and they are seeing it for the first time? What strategy would you apply, to convince them based on what you think they should adopt? Like the story I gave you. Later, the guy told them, he said, this thing is possible. They can still get this water and still get suitors. You just need to think outside the box. Okay, now, can the community organize something like after six months or yearly, that other communities surrounding them can just come and they will relate, and from there they can mingle, and then the ladies will now find suitors. And that's how it went. They finally, he finally provided the well for them. It makes it easier for the women not to travel long distance to get the water. And then with the idea of them organizing one event like that will bring other people to come, and from there, it continues. That doesn't stop. So you just have to think outside the box, and then not just thinking outside the box, but you have to be deliberate. The reason why is that, you see, we talk about issue of exposure. There are so many people that travel, like, if you talk about traveling, exposure, they travel a lot, they come. I'm sorry to say, check our politicians. They travel, they know what is obtainable out there. But when they come, you see their behaviors here, you know that is a mindset. Is a mindset. So you have to change your mindset. Mindset. Yeah, you have to change your local mindset. And the problem is that when you go there, you enjoy what is obtainable there. You boast about it, you post pictures, you all. But when you come back here, you understand, and then you narrow your mind to the local things here, and then you don't want people in this part of the world to benefit from that kind of whether technology or the way school is being advanced now, and some of these things, and you begin to think, do they travel? Are they exposed? The answer is yes. But their mentality,
thinking globally would have saved us a lot of problem, like as a country. Think about it, when we have legislatures that they don't just go out, but they bring innovations down to this country. You wouldn't need to even travel for any treatment. You can just do it here. All those that travel for vacation in other countries is because those people were innovative enough to make the environment so conducive that you can go for vacation. Why not come back and think, like, act locally now? After having been exposed to what is obtainable out there, you come back and reciprocate it, like replicate it in your own community. When you do that, then the people there will benefit. Like we said earlier on, education is about solving problem. It's about bringing a solution. It's about upgrading how things are being done. We are not talking about you thinking globally for you to compromise your values and your belief. That because now we're in a time where people are saying, oh, I'm irreligious, I don't have a religion, I'm just there, I'm a free thinker. So when you are around those people, you too, you'll be free thinker, because we are in an environment again where LGBT and the rest is reigning. So now I don't have to marry a man, I can just marry a woman. This is what the time is. No, that's not what we are saying. We're not saying you should compromise your belief. We're not saying you should compromise your values. But we are saying, can you profile solutions to the underlying problems and challenges we are facing? Can you think of global approach to solving problems? Can you allow yourself to be exposed to new perspectives and how things are being done? Can you come out of your comfort zone? Can you embrace global mindset? Can you think ahead of time? Yes, we know that when you do this, you get this. But ahead of time, can you just think before the problem come? Can you think of solution? We have innovations, and then you think, what if in a situation where you have this problem, what will you do? That's what we're thinking. We're talking about thinking globally. Explore new opportunities in other countries, in other communities, in other climes, and then bring it back. Look at how politicians, how legislators go outside there and invest their money in other countries. Think about it when this investment is being done in your own local community. You're empowering your people, you're empowering that community, and even your country as a whole. If everybody or all the stolen money that we've been hearing of is being invested in the same country one way or the other, then we won't be where we are. So it's important that we are global in our thinking. It's important that we expand our thoughts beyond where we are, and that is what thinking globally is all about. And I think this is to everybody, not just people in business, people that work in offices, people that own companies. Like, if you want to be relevant in this day and age, you have to be a global thinker.
Yeah.
And talking about education, that's what we are talking today, and then thinking globally, I think is a challenge to our leaders, from all level, whether legislators, executive, and the rest. Because we are talking education, can we just sit down and ask ourselves, what is obtainable globally when you talk about education? Are we seeing it here in Nigeria? Then it's a challenge.
I just wanted to add this, that result is the evidence of learning. If we can't see result, then you have learned nothing. You can't claim that you are educated and we can't see the evidence. If you are educated, you would think globally.
And to teachers as well, they need to think globally. Teachers, lecturers, because they are the ones producing global thinkers at the end of the day. So if they can think globally, teach. How can I teach these people in a way that they would understand better? They won't be scared of me and just read to write my exams. When you're being able to raise people that will be global thinkers, then you would see greater results.
Sure.
That's a powerful one. Thank you all for this great discussion. And to our viewers out there, like the Scottish planner said, like in the phrase think globally and act locally in 1915, talking about Patrick Geddes, this phrase is still relevant today. In all you do, in any situation you find yourself, you must have the ability to think globally and act locally. Until we come your way tomorrow same time, you have a blessed day. Thank you.